Okay, so let's start. So we are starting with the next chapter of Unit 2, that is about cooling. Okay, I think we already are aware about that, what exactly cooling is, okay, and why probably when we are talking about. So yeah, when we talk about cooling, we our focus will be much on data centers or those architectures where basically we can expect that cooling will be required to a huge amount of to a huge amount, basically because there will be so many machines or servers and they will be emitting heat. So when we are talking about cooling, we are talking about it basically as a concern, as a problem, because cooling itself is going to consume a huge amount of, we can say, power. So now why like this chapter is right now. So just chapter 3 we discussed about which are the different ways by which we can minimize the power, or by which we can save the power. And on the very first end, okay, we discussed that there are several ways, like there is a blade server, then you have like we can say virtualization, and then you have low power machines, and there are lot many things, okay, which are there. And over there, okay, so uh, uh, yes, there is a low power machine, and there are so many, I think, different ways. We saw some computer settings, some monitor settings by which we can reduce power. So there were so many different ways available. We can make use of bigger drives and so on. So apart from all those ways, apart from all those ways, still we can save power, and that major area where we can save power is cooling. Okay, so basically this chapter will focus on uh, why cooling is required, where cooling is required, and how we can make this process of cooling more efficient in a way that somehow or the other, we could save a little bit of energy or power, or maybe we can opt for cooling in some different way, which we will just see. So that is the whole chapter going to talk about. Okay, it's just going to focus on one area or one aspect, that is cooling. Okay, so basically we say cooling of a data center, or maybe you can talk about an infrastructure which is going to be having multiple servers, workstations, clients, machines, etc. Okay, fine. So with this note we start. Some estimates that the cooling can account for upward of 63% of the IT department's power usage, which means if we are talking about any multinational organization, maybe anything, okay, then or it says, or it could be like a normal company like IT, definitely. Okay, if you talk about an IT company, more of it will be having machines only. Or you talk about data center, what it says is 63% of the electrical cost, okay, or 63% of the power usage is just consumed by cooling. Now some little bit introduction of electricity is given, like what is electricity. Okay, it has no direct relation with cooling, but just to understand, okay. So if we'll go ahead and if we'll talk something more on electricity, just to understand what it is, okay, what are the different units in which we actually measure the electricity, this point is given. So I think we all are aware about it, okay. It's what we have seen, okay, really. So electricity is paid for per kilowatt hour. This is a measure of hourly consumption of electrical power. Okay, so we are already aware about it, that it's kilowatt, and if you're going to measure it per hour, then it turns out to be kilowatt per hour. Let's use a basic electrical device, the household incandescent light bulb, to determine how much the electricity costs. A 100-watt bulb uses 100 watt hours of electricity, 100 watt of electricity in 60 minutes. As such, 10 100-watt light bulbs will totally use 1 kilowatt of electricity per hour. Okay, so this is just some example given to us to just notify that this is how the consumption of electricity is being calculated. Okay, now where basically or why basically cooling is actually will cost. Okay, so first is that there is an increase of power consumption as more servers and more storage devices are deployed. Okay, so that is one of the major reason. Okay, because so here we are actually given the causes of the cost, okay, and most of the causes of the cost will be related to cooling. So because more servers and more storage devices are there, there will be huge power consumption, increased heat intensity in racks because of increased computing power in confined space. Okay, now here comes a bit, we can say a contradictory thing. So we discussed that blade servers are going to be helpful to us because blade servers are going to be, basically come into a small space and they're going to consume some amount of electricity which is much less than the normal architecture. But then the other downside of it is this, that if there are so much of data servers in a rack, okay, then they are going to work in a confined space, and then they are going to release the heat, okay, which is much more we can say than the normal architecture of the server which it was there. Okay, so because of that also we need to have, we can say, we need to do more cooling, or we need to give more cooling, and definitely if we are providing more cooling, it is going to increase our cost of energy. Next is irregular heat load in the data center, which means the data center is working 24 by 7, but it will not work same 24 by 7. It will be a scenario wherein for some hours it is working so much, for some hours, okay, I think this we all can understand, that there will be certain time, okay, where the storage of the data and access of the data will be less. Okay, if we talk about a banking data sector specifically, then we could just assume, though they have a functionality of running it 24 by 7, but there will be some hours in the data centers which we can say they will be very busy hours. Okay, network we can say connections will be more, storage of data will be more, excess of data will be more, as well as there will be some hours where, the load on the data centers will be less, okay, because there is a less storage of data, less excess of data, something like that. Okay, so now when when this is a kind of a differentiation, as a part of cooling, if we are providing the same amount of cooling 24 by 7, and something like this is there, okay, at times the heat load is more and at times the heat load is less, okay, it becomes really not, we can say efficient. So this again, it actually add to our cost of cooling. Increasing power cost, definitely we are aware about it, okay, that the power has never been um, we can say cheap these days. Okay, the power costs are increasing, okay, and they keep on increasing because from where it is generated, it's basically, we can say, a renewable source of energy. Okay, you are making use of fossil fuels, and if you tend to do so, okay, the power cost is going to go high and high. Okay, and next is, okay, which I think we all are aware about, a tendency to overcool the data centers. See, data centers are actually being managed by gigantic organizations which have immense amount of, power support, immense immense support related to, we can say, finance and so many other things. Now, so let's say they just want, that because of any reason it shouldn't happen that my data center shouldn't work. Okay, it shouldn't happen that some server shouldn't work or something like that. Okay, that shouldn't happen. So so to to do so uh, to do so basically, they try to, we can say, overcool the data centers. Okay, so this is another we can say aspect where cooling cost is high, and because of which, there is a huge amount of power consumption which is going on. Okay, so this is about different cooling costs. Now some example is given over here. Okay, okay, so certain just examples are given. Okay, that what is the power cost. Okay, but I think, okay, so that's not a concern right now. Okay, we don't have to remember the figures. We're just trying to say, okay, that as and when the years pass by, okay, the power cost is increasing only. Okay, so that's what it is. Now, this is something, which is a very important topic. Okay, so now whenever we talk about data center, okay, so how we are going to actually, understand, okay, what is the cooling requirement of the data center. So whenever we talk about the data center, okay, there are several aspects into the data centers, okay, which is going to help us or tell to us, how we have to calculate the cooling for the data center. Now, I think this all we can understand that if we need to cool something, okay, then basically we can say it's just an example. Let's say the current temperature of the room is, let's say, 30, let's say 33 degrees centigrade, okay. So if I want to cool this room, then definitely, okay, I will need a temperature which is less than 33 degrees centigrade. Okay, so the output of cooling, okay, must always be greater than the heat load. Now if you want to calculate how much cooling needs to be given into the data center, okay, then first of all it is very important to work out on how much heat is getting generated. Okay, so now this is not some random thing, like that we have, let's say we have a place and just we install two ACs, okay. Over there also we think, okay, how much turns of AC we need to install, what is the room size. I think this is what we discuss whenever we want to purchase, probably when we talk about air conditioning. So similar is the case for the data center also, okay. But then when we talk about data center, there is not only room size, okay, that matters. There are several other things, okay, which also contribute to generate the heat, and we have to take them into the consideration when we have to calculate the cooling. So we will just see it in a brief right now, and then we are going to do a calculation about it, how basically this happens, okay. There's a PDF which we will refer, and then we will see that how we can actually calculate. So all the equipment in your server room generates heat, so does the lightning, and so does the people working there. So each and every aspect, okay, which is there into the data center is actually the contributor for the heat load. Let's say the people who are working over there will contribute for some amount of it. The lights which are installed over there will contribute for some amount of it. When we will see the calculation, we will see that if there are some windows, then they also contribute for some little amount of it, and definitely the room size contributes to a huge amount of heat, okay. All these sources of heat contribute to the heat load of the server. Typically this number is expressed in British thermal units or kilowatt. 1 kilowatt is same as 3142 British thermal units. So see, kilowatt is something, okay, which we normally use, but then we can also make use of a unit which is known as British thermal units, which is more, we can say, globalized in another nations. So if we talk about a 1 kilowatt over here, then it is just equivalent to 312 British thermal units. Okay. In order for your air conditioner to cool a room, its output must be greater than the heat load. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. So now we will do a calculation. Okay, after some time, where we will see, okay, how the heat load of a data center is calculated. And once you calculate the heat load for your data center, then you will be able to understand, okay, how much cooling has to be given to this particular data center. Okay, fine. Now, when we talk about data centers, so where exactly, okay, these data centers, consume power. So definitely, okay, we see over here that the very immense amount of, power consumption, okay, that is this part basically, goes for, we can say, running the servers. Okay, this is the major place, okay, where we see the power consumption happens, okay. So then some amount is, we can say, used by UPS and transformer, okay. Some amount is used by lightning, some amount is used by chilling water or compressing coolant to the cool air, which actually in turn is given to the cooling servers, okay. And then you see, okay, this part, okay, that is around some 7%, okay, which is used for cooling. Next is used for humidifying and dehumidifying, which again is actually a major concern for cooling, okay. So all these three aspects, okay, sum up and actually are we can say, are responsible for cooling the data center, okay. All the three aspects. Okay, waste to it mixed by design and system efficiencies. Okay, so these are different areas where actually data centers are going to use power. So what we see, they do use a huge amount of power for chilling water or compressing coolant to cool air, cooling the servers, humidifying and dehumidifying. Now, so this is what we have understood. See, so we just understood that cooling is going to be there, and definitely till now also cooling is actually consuming a huge amount of power. So now, what are the different ways? Is there something available which will help us to reduce the cooling cost? Okay, so that's what we have to see. So reducing cooling cost, the first thing, okay, that we can actually make use of is what we call it as economizers. Okay, uh, yeah, okay. So I just wanted to show you, okay, that how these economizers look like. Okay, anyways, okay, we just discuss about them and then we'll go to the diagram again. Okay. So the very first aspect, okay, which we can actually go for if we wanted to reduce the cooling cost is making use of economizer. So till now we are aware about that if we want to do cooling, so one of the way is air conditioner. I think we all are aware about the how air conditioner works. I think before that also, before air conditioners, okay, there was something, okay, which we actually call it as cooler. Okay, so that was the word we tend to use, and then what we do into that, okay, we fill it with water, and then it has it has some kind of fan or something like that, okay, which keeps on rotating the water, and then whatever amount of cool air is actually generated is thrown out. And it was preferred that if we fill into cooler, okay, we can say cool water or ice or something like that, then it is going to work more efficiently. Okay, so these are the two things, okay, which we are already aware about, that they can provide us cooling. Okay, now let us see what this concept, okay, what economizer is trying to tell us. Okay, so this is another place, or this is another device which is actually going to help us to give cooling, but how it works, okay, or how differently it works than what we are using till now. Okay, so you can save a lot of money if you are able to put mother nature to work for you. Okay, so I think we all are aware about it. Whenever we even talk about energy, we want that if at all we could use solar, or if at all we could go for something like which is hydrogen based or anything, okay, like that, then definitely we are going to save huge amount of money. In a lot of country, winter provides you with an opportunity to enhance your cooling system by using the cold outside air to cool the things down. But it isn't as simple as opening a window to accomplish this. To do so, you need to employ what is called an economizer. There are two types of economizer: air side economizers and water side economizers. Okay, so now, as we have already, seen some of a line over here, okay, that winter provides with an opportunity. Okay, so let me just, tell you one thing over here, that most of the data centers, this is what we can you can just study about. So first thing is that most of the data centers will rely at a place. Okay, so you will see that they are geographically, the data centers, maybe will be at place, okay, which is having, we can say, bit of, we can say, a cold weather. There are data centers, okay, there are data centers which are mostly, you can see, underground. And nowadays the data centers are actually being constructed underwater also. Okay, so definitely we all can see that all these three aspects, okay, this is something, we can say, a matter of a research. Okay, and there are certain examples available, but yeah, these two, the first two are something, okay, which definitely exist. So what all we see is that they do definitely have an advantage, okay, of cooling, we can say, by nature itself, or we can say, by default. But now how they use this advantage, okay, or what kind of architecture is there into the data centers, okay, that this can be the only reason that they are designed in cold weather or underground is that because they are going to generate huge amount of heat, because they are going to work, like 24 by 7, 365 days, doing a lot amount of things. That is the only reason that all the major and the big data centers, are designed at these kind of places. Okay, and if they are not designed at these kind of places, definitely there will be a huge cooling cost. And other end also is that the lifetime of the data center will also be less. Okay, because the more, if the servers are working continuously and generating immense amount of heat, and right time of temperature is not given to them, then they will start depreciating. Okay, or we can say, there will be huge impact onto that, basically, electrical device or something like that. Okay. So now what is being told to us? Okay, so economizer is trying to use something which is by default available to us. Okay, but then there is certain approach. Okay, there is certain design or architecture which we have to follow if we have to do this. Okay, so there are two types of economizers. Okay, that we see, which we will understand how they work. So one is air side and another is water side. I think this is something, okay, which we can understand, right? Okay, so now, but yeah, now we will understand that how they work. Okay, so we just go ahead. Okay, so how an airside economizer is going to work? An airside economizer regulates the use of outside air for cooling a room or a building. It employs sensors, ducts, and dampers to regulate the amount of air brought in. Okay, so I think if we are already aware about, okay, then our air conditioner do some of this thing only. Okay, but not in a way that if it actually does not senses the outside air. So whatever our air conditioner is doing, an airside economizer will do the similar thing. Okay, but it will use a different strategy to cool. Okay, so if we talk about our air conditioner, there is a huge amount of, we can say, gases which are available inside it. Okay, which have a nature to change the temperature of the air. Okay, so and if these gas is, let's say, not available into the air conditioner, then maybe the air conditioner will not work. But that is not the case with airside economizer. It is not relying on some external substance to cool the air, whereas our air conditioners do rely on external substances to cool the air. Now what एयर साइड economizer does, ओके, जो एयर साइड economizer है वो बेसिकली क्या करेगा, वो सेंस करेगा आउटसाइड एयर को. ठीक है, उसको पता चलेगा कि उसका टेम्परेचर कैसा है, कितना है, एंड देन वेरी स्पेसिफिकली, ओके, और बहुत ही अच्छे से क्यों, क्योंकि अगर समझो बाहर का टेम्परेचर है, जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल, लेट्स से 5 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, लेकिन जब एयर अंदर आती है 5 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, वी ऑल नो दैट व्हेन एज एंड व्हेन द एयर विल पास, ओके, उसका जो टेम्परेचर है इट विल कीप ऑन इंक्रीजिंग. मतलब तो पहले बाहर 5 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड है, बट वंस इट विल कम इनसाइड, इट मे हैपन, इट मे गो टू 7 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड, बिकॉज इट मे लूज its cooling effect. Okay, because it is passing. So there will be ducts. Okay, there will be specific ways, okay, by which that air can be brought inside, so that we can have the advantage of this cold weather which is outside, or the cold air which is outside. If we are unable to bring it inside, then the whole idea of airside economizer will fail. So to do that, वो करने के लिए, okay, there is some amount of thing, there is sensor. Okay, sensor will sense कि अभी डेटा सेंटर के अंदर जो है वो कितना टेम्परेचर और बाहर कितना है. इफ इट एट ऑल गेट्स दैट नहीं, बाहर का जो टेम्परेचर है वो कम है, एंड इट स्टार्ट्स वर्किंग, एंड इट स्टार्ट्स ब्रिंगिंग दैट दिस एयर इनसाइड. Okay. So okay, this is something, okay, which I think a normal table, some information is given. Okay, is that what happens to the data center and what will be the cost. Okay, so we just go to the concept of what is an air side economizer. The sensors measure air temperature both inside and outside the building. If it notices that the outside air is suitably cool enough to cool the data center, it will adjust its dampers to draw in the outside air, making it the main source of cooling. So students, now one important thing over here is that the data center will not just rely completely on air side economizer. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि सिर्फ air side economizer से cooling हो रहा है. Okay, they will have, okay, whatever functionality of cooling is there, they will have air conditioners and everything. Here we are discussing how we can reduce cooling cost. Here we are not discussing how we can just eliminate whatever the cooling mechanism is going on. So just imagine, okay, that we already understood that a data center will work for all the months. So there is a time, let's say there are 4 5 months where the outside temperature of the data center is huge. It's very less. Okay, it's very less, or we can say it's very cold. So what it can do, in that time, okay, the air side economizer can start working. And then what basically it will do is that that whatever air conditioners are going on right now, okay, which are actually serving to cool certain part of the data center, they will stop working. Okay, and instead of those air conditioners, we can just expect that these economizers will start working. Okay, so for a huge buffer of, we can say, 5 to 6 months, okay, instead of the normal cooling which is given to the data centers, the cooling will be given by the economizers. Okay, and this will actually, we can, just understand, reduce a huge amount of the power usage, which is just, going for the cooling purpose. So that is how we say that air side economizer is going to reduce the cooling cost. Okay, that is a way by which air side economizer is going to reduce the cooling cost. But it is possible only and only if, okay, we have our data centers, at places wherein we get an opportunity that for some buffer of time, the outside air which is available to us is it's cool enough to, or it's having that temperature enough to, basically cool the data center. So this is one way. Okay, or this is one way, or this is the first type of economizer which will actually help us to reduce the cooling cost. It will not eliminate the cooling cost, but it will help you to reduce the cooling cost. Okay, next is fluid. Okay, so either you can say it as a water based economizer, or you can also say it fluid. So fluid is like the most, we can say, the cheapest fluid which we can use is water itself. But then there are other fluids also available, okay, which can actually work in as a water side economizer. Okay, so water side economizers are also termed as fluid based economizer, something like that. A water side economizer utilizes evaporative cooling, usually provided by cooling towers, to indirectly produce chilled water to cool a data center when outdoor conditions are cool, often at night. Waterside economizers are especially beneficial because not only they save the cost, but they don't allow contaminants or altered humidity levels into the data center. Now, this is line is actually trying to just tell us that how at times waterside economizer will be better than air side. Okay, air based. So just we go to the air side economizer again. Now what it air side economizer सिर्फ क्या करने वाला है कि जो बाहर का cool air है वो अंदर लेके आने वाला है. But now at times, because of that, okay, there will be so much of humidity which will start coming into the data center. मतलब जो air आएगा, okay, it will be humid, at times it will have moisture, and all these little things, all these little aspects, okay, hamper an electronic device, the way an electronic device works. The only other reason, okay, why we actually also need some amount of, power supply for humidifying and dehumidifying is that only that there is when you talk about a data center will face, we can say, different seasons. Okay, and different seasons will have a different impact on to that. So I think this is something which is very normal. Okay, we all are aware about, but we will not understand its impact because we are working with very less electrical equipments. Okay, but when there is there are rooms and rooms, okay, full of electrical equipments, okay, all these things, okay, they play a very important role. They play a very important role in the working of these devices, and they play again a very important role to how long this device will have their lifetime. मतलब अगर ये हमने ध्यान में नहीं रखा तो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि सर्वर्स काम करना बंद हो जाएंगे. दे विल रन, बट मे बी अगर उनका लाइफ टाइम 10 years था, so then it will reduce for 8 years or something like that, because at the end, okay, we have to understand that they are electrical appliances, they are made up of metals. Okay, they are made up of these things. So all these things, okay, do have an impact on whatever temperature is there. So if we अगर हम air side economizer use करते हैं, तो then again we have to spend some amount of energy, okay, for humidifying and dehumidifying purpose. But instead, if we actually, okay, again there will be certain contaminants, okay, which are there into the air. The if they are not filtered properly, they can enter into the data center. And again these small particles, okay, of air can again we can say somehow or the other damage the data center, the servers and everything, okay. So in these aspect, अगर ये aspect को consider करें तो water set will be helpful to us. वो क्या करेगा, okay, again it will make use of the cool temperature only. It will produce chilled water, okay. And then whatever we can say, cooling is generated because of that chilled water will be passed. And this process, okay, is something, okay, which we can say goes on repeating and repeating, okay. So we say there will be a tower which will be actually we can assume that it will be full of water, or basically it will be full of some kind of fluid, okay. Mostly it will be water, but then certain additional fluid it will help, which will actually help to to cool this water bit faster, okay. Now this tower will have water, and the water will be cooled depending on whatever the temperature is there outside, and then whatever the cool fluid is there, okay. So this is the idea of a cooler which I have talked about. It will keep on circulating. जैसे ये water chilled हो जाएगा, वो सर्कुलेट होता रहेगा, और जैसे ही वो सर्कुलेट होता रहेगा तो जितना भी जो कूलिंग एयर है, ओके, जो मिलता है वो इधर हम ट्रांसफर करेंगे, एंड देन इट विल बी गिवन टू द डेटा सेंटर. Okay, so water side economizers cool using a loop connecting to a cooling tower, evaporative cooler or a dry cooler. मतलब कि जितना भी जो भी evaporate cool air हो रहा है, okay, it has to transmit somewhere, and then it will be given to the server room. See, all these structures, okay, all these designs has to be very 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 efficient. Okay, there are so much people available, okay, who very nicely design it according to the requirement of the data center, so that we can actually make proper use of these economizers. क्योंकि ये डिज़ाइन अगर हमारा अच्छा नहीं है, मतलब there is a huge we can say place between the cooling tower and the data center, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा distance है, या अगर उसका जो भी कूल एयर हो रहा है अगर उसको हम प्रॉपरली ट्रांसमिट नहीं कर पा रहे, then all this will go into a waste. So lot of, we can say, research is done, lot of study is done. There is a whole study which we call it as data center system design study, okay. Whenever a data center is designed, okay, there are so many architectural things, okay, which are taken into consider, like whenever we have to design a building. So that's how important is the design of a data center is also there. And there are people, okay, who are paid immensely high, okay, who are actually responsible for designing all these things. So this all part, okay, will also be designed by them, because they know that somehow or the other, because data centers are going to run, these type of economizers, okay, will help to reduce the cooling cost onto a long term, okay. So yeah, this is the idea behind, but we can say, air-based economizer and water-based economizer, and these two are major we can say substances, or major we can say things which are actually going to help us to reduce to the cooling cost. Okay. Now, next is what else we can make use of to reduce the cooling cost. Okay, so optimizing airflow, air exchange is important. To determine the precise cooling environment, air must be exchanged at a sufficient rate. Normal office environments must change air over twice a hour. In high density data centers, air has to be exchanged 50 times an hour. If enough air is not exchanged, cooling air will heat up before it reaches the equipment and disaster could occur. Okay, so I think this is also something which is very normal. Just giving an example. If I'm sitting in a room, okay, though let's say I have put my fan on, but let's say if the air is not exchanged, which means if I don't keep the windows open, or if I don't have any place wherein the current air of my room is exchanged, so what will happen, even if my fan is running, you see, after 1 or 2 or 3 hours, okay, you will start feeling heat inside the room, even though fan is running, because the fan itself will now start generating the heat. And so that's what it is. So it is always important that the air exchange should happen, okay. Now why we open windows, why we open doors, etc. So that is the reason that it has to happen. So now when we talk about data centers which is generating huge amount of heat by themselves, okay, though we are giving it cooling, but then it is necessary that whatever current heat is generated right now, okay, or whatever current air is there into the data center right now, it has to be exchanged. Okay, and if it doesn't happen, then whatever cooling that we are actually giving to the data center, it will not actually have its impact, because rather than, I just told you, okay, rather than giving it cooling, okay, it might just it heat up the equipment before it reaches, because it has already generated so much amount of heat, and that heat is actually not spread up anywhere, not went anywhere. So that's how it could happen. So we have to give cooling, but if at all, we could also consider that how we can we can just transfer the heat which is generated, then we can actually save something on our cooling cost. Again, understand कि हीट जो जनरेट हो रहा है उसको सिर्फ हम एक्सचेंज कर देंगे तो उससे हमारा डेटा सेंटर कूल नहीं हो जाएगा, डेटा सेंटर को कूलिंग तो देना ही है, लेकिन अगर हम जितना हीट एक्सचेंज कम करेंगे उतना हमें ज़्यादा कूलिंग देना पड़ेगा। तो अगर हमारा हीट एक्सचेंज थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो रहा है या अगर हमारा एयर एक्सचेंज ज़्यादा हो रहा है, तो हमारा कूलिंग का रिक्वायरमेंट जो है वो ऑटोमेटिकली थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा। तो दिस इज़ अनदर एरिया जहाँ पे हम एक्चुअली कूलिंग कॉस्ट को सेव कर सकते हैं बाय ऑप्टिमाइजिंग द एयर फ्लो। नाउ व्हाट वी कैन मेक यूज ऑफ, ओके, अगर हमें ऑप्टिमाइज एयर फ्लो करना है, मतलब अगर हमें एयर को एक्सचेंज करना है, देन व्हाट वी शुड यूज, ओके। सो द आर्किटेक्चर इज गिवन over here that data center will mostly have equipment racks, okay, that is nothing but blade servers का concept जो हमने देखा, okay, there will be racks and there will be some network devices or servers, there could be so many things, okay, which will be a part of this rack. Now we can make use of hot hazel and cold hazel. Okay, now what is hot hazel and cold hazel? Okay, so hot hazel and cold hazel is nothing but it is just, we can say, exchange of air. Okay, so what hot hazel will do? Okay, it will exhaust. Okay, and what cold hazel will do? It will intake the air. I think this is something which we already know. We all have exhaust fans, okay, available. What is the reason that we have exhaust fans? So there is a big architecture, okay, and normally at times when we do not have an opportunity to keep doors or windows or something like open, we do have exhaust, okay, and what they will do is they will just suck up all the hot air is there, okay, and certain cool air is there which will be passed on. So these hot hazel and cold hazel are another one of the most important aspect which will actually help us to optimize the airflow into the data center, and because of this we can say there could be a significant reduce in cooling cost to the data center. Okay, so इसकी वजह से जो cooling cost है वो कम हो जाएगा. So that is the idea behind we say hot hazel and cold hazel. Okay, so there are other aspects, okay, which we will just see after some time, okay. So what we see is that raised flows, okay, that is another helpful thing by which we can actually cut the cooling cost. Cable management, vapor seal, okay, then there are certain other things, okay, which are given to us. All these aspects, okay, there are remaining some aspects which will help us to actually, we can say, reduce the cooling cost, okay. So we will see them maybe in our next lecture. Before that, let me just revise you what all we have done till now, okay. So हमने स्टार्ट किया था कि कूलिंग कॉस्ट क्यों कूलिंग है, ओके, कूलिंग कॉस्ट के बारे में हमने देखा था कि क्यों बेसिकली डेटा सेंटर में कूलिंग कॉस्ट ज़्यादा होगा, एंड वी आर ऑलरेडी अवेयर अबाउट कि क्या क्या डिफरेंट डिफरेंट कॉजेज़ है जिसकी वजह से हमें कूलिंग कॉस्ट ज़्यादा होता है. देन वी अंडरस्टूड कि देर आर सर्टेन पैरामीटर्स जो हीट जनरेट करते हैं डेटा सेंटर में. वी हैव टू स्टिल डू द कैलकुलेशन विच विल डू, बट all the server, then all the lights and all the people working over there are actually responsible for generating the heat. और अगर हमें डेटा सेंटर को कूल करना है तो फिर हमें उतना एयर जनरेट करना पड़ेगा, ज़्यादा जनरेट करना पड़ेगा जिस ये हीट जो जितना हो रहा है उससे, सो दैट वी कैन कूल द डेटा सेंटर. ओके, नाउ देर आर सेवरल एस्पेक्ट्स. डेटा सेंटर में पावर यूज़ होता है तो सर्वर्स रन करने के लिए, कूलिंग के लिए, लाइटनिंग के लिए, ह्यूमिडिफाइंग के लिए, ये सब के लिए पावर यूज़ होता है. अभी दिस इज द मेन प्लेस वेयर वी एक्चुअली डिस्कस कि हम कूलिंग कॉस्ट को कैसे रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं. तो वेरी फर्स्ट थिंग दैट वी कैन डू इज वी कैन हैव इकोनोमाइजर्स. ओके, द इकोनोमाइजर्स कैन वर्क, they can work together with the air conditioners. Okay, but some amount of cooling we can expect that for some months will be given by economizers. So वो एक जगह है जहाँ पे आप रिड्यूस कॉस्ट, कूलिंग कॉस्ट रिड्यूस कर सकते हो बाय मेकिंग यूज ऑफ एयर साइड इकोनोमाइजर और वाटर साइड इकोनोमाइजर. हमने देखा कि एयर साइड और वाटर साइड इकोनोमाइजर कैसे काम करते हैं. नेक्स्ट एस्पेक्ट है जिससे हम कूलिंग कॉस्ट को कम कर सकते हैं, वो है ऑप्टिमाइजिंग एयर फ्लो. और ऑप्टिमाइजिंग एयर फ्लो करने के लिए वी कैन मेक यूज ऑफ हॉट एजल एंड कोल्ड एजल. ओके, fine. So let us just look this. Okay, so data centers are conventionally built on a floor that is raised 18 to 36 inches. The higher the floor level, the more air that can be distributed under the floor, and the more air that can be used by the cooling system. So normally, okay, so here also, there are two aspects. Okay, there could be data centers, okay, which could be on raised floors, that is also helpful, and that could be data centers, okay, which will be underground altogether, that also can be helpful. Both of them will actually help us to provide a kind of a cooling system. Then cable management, whatever cables which we are using into the data centers, okay, they has to be proper enough. Okay, because unnecessary, we can say, cables and everything will also generate some amount of heat, and we have to keep cooling. Next is vapor seal. If you have a poor vapor barrier, humidity will move into the data center during hot months and escape during the winter months. Okay, so vapor seal means how all, you have designed the data center, how where the windows is available, where the places are available, where air is getting exchanged. Okay, all these things should be also good enough, so that we can, say that the cooling cost should be reduced. Okay, so this we will see, okay, in our next lecture. So we'll stop here.